Hope you all are good. We are here for grade 10 math. You can find all the lessons on a+2mates.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password is provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab. Scroll down to grade 10 and then click on view all lessons. There you can find a list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter introduction to congruent figures. So let's just start with the lesson. Please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. So here I am on grade 10 math. The chapter we are working on is introduction to congruent figures, and let's just start with the first lesson, that is congruent statements and corresponding parts. What are the corresponding parts of the figure below? Select all that apply. So you are given two of the figures. Also you are given, you have to see if these sides are congruent, right? NL is congruent to NL is congruent to YW. Here is NL, that is 31 centimeters, right? And then here is YW, that is also 31 centimeters. That means yes, this is congruent, right? Then LM and WX. Here is LM 14 centimeter and here is WX 14 centimeter. This is also congruent, right? Okay, the next one is angle L. Angle L here 43 degree and angle W 43 degree. They are also congruent, right? The last one is MN congruent to YW. MN is 23 centimeter and YW is 31 centimeter. They are not congruent, right? So the last one is not the congruent. The other three are the congruent, right? Now let's just start the test questions. Okay, complete the congruence statement. Triangle PNO is congruent to, okay, PNO. PNO is congruent to triangle VWX. The correct option is just match the congruent angles. P is 78, V is 78, N is 41, W is 41, O is 61, X is 61. So that means triangle PNO is congruent to VWX. Option number 1 is the correct option, right? That is triangle VWX. Option number 1 is the correct option. Okay, the next one is complete the congruence statement. DGFE is congruent to, okay, let's see. DGFE is congruent to VW, no, WV, WVUT. Hold on. DG DGF E. Okay, then WVUT. Option number 2 is the correct option. Start with WVUT, right? Then WUPT. Option number 2 is the correct option. DGFE is congruent to the second one, that is WVUT. Hmm? Hold on. DGTUVW. Okay. VWTU or WVUT. Okay, the option number 1 is the correct option. Wait, let me check. Angle D is congruent to angle T. Angle G is congruent to angle U. Angle F is congruent to angle V, and angle E is congruent to angle W. So these shapes have symmetry. There is more than one correct answer. How symmetry? DGFE. DGFE is equal to VWTU. But why not the second one? They have exactly same options. WU. They have exactly same options. Okay, got it. Okay, the next one is complete the congruence statement. Okay, BEDC is congruent to, okay, B or STU. So option number 1, BEDC, just match the corresponding angles. Angle B is corresponding to angle R. Angle E is corresponding to angle S. Angle D is corresponding to angle T. And angle C is corresponding to angle U, right? So that is RSTU. So option number 1 is the correct option, right? The correct option is option number 1. What are the corresponding parts of the figure below? Select all that apply. Okay, let's just see which of them are corresponding. NL. Here is NL, that is 31 centimeter, and here is YW. YW also 31 centimeter. That means NL is congruent to VW, right? Okay, now LM. LM is 14 centimeter and WX is 14 centimeter. So LM is congruent to WX. True it is. The next one is angle L. Angle L is 43 degree and angle W is also 43 degree. So yes, both the angles are congruent. Okay, now MN is 23 centimeter and YW. YW is 31 centimeter. They are not congruent, right? The correct option is no, they are not congruent. Got it? So A, B, and C are congruent. Option number 2 is the correct option. Got it? We complete the congruence statement. Okay, angle triangle FGH. So angle F is congruent to angle O, angle G is congruent to angle P, and angle H is congruent to angle N. That means FGH is congruent to OPN. Option number 1 is the correct option. Triangle FGH is congruent to triangle OPN. Got it? Option number 1 is the correct option. Okay, the next one is complete the congruence statement. Okay, let's see. Angle M is congruent to angle V, L is congruent to angle W, K is congruent to X, and J is congruent to Y. That means MLKJ is congruent to VWXY. Option number 1 is the correct option. Here is VWXY, right? So the correct option is option number 1. The rest of them are also congruent. Got it? So the correct option is option number 1. Complete the congruence statement. Okay. HIJK is congruent to ORQP. O no HIJK. QROP. Option number 2 is the correct option. That is OPQR and QROP. Option number 2 is the correct option, right? Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. Complete the congruence statement. Triangle DCB. D is congruent to P, C is congruent to Q, and angle B is congruent to R. That means triangle DCB is congruent to PQR. Triangle PQR. The correct option is option number 1. Just match the corresponding angles or corresponding sides, right? Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is solve problems involving corresponding parts. Okay, these figures are congruent. What is RS? Okay, they are congruent. Let's see. Just match the corresponding angles, right? Angle G is corresponding to angle R, angle H and angle S are the right angles, and then angle F is corresponding to angle T. So if GH is 50 millimeters, these are the corresponding angles. So then RS is also 50 millimeters because both the triangles are congruent. Got it? Okay, let's just start with the test questions. These figures are congruent. What is measurement of angle T? Okay, B is congruent to angle T. D is congruent to angle U. Angle T must be, angle T is congruent to angle B. So angle B is 62 degrees. That means angle T is also 62. The correct option is 62 degrees. Got it? And the correct option is 62 degrees. Okay, these figures are congruent. What is RS? Which is the correct option? Yes, that is 50 millimeters. Option number 2 is the correct option. L, K, N, M is congruent to Q, R, S, T. So what is R, S? Which is the correct option? The correct option is 22. RS is equal to 22. Got it? Triangle PON is congruent to triangle UST. So triangle S, measurement of triangle S equals, yes, the correct option is 54 degrees it is. Triangle QRS is congruent to triangle WUV. What is RS? Which is the correct option? Yes, the correct option is 73 degree. The correct RS equals 73 yards, sorry, not degrees. These figures are congruent. What is XY? Yes, that is 30 miles. The correct option is 30 miles. These figures are congruent. What is the measurement of angle K? Which is the correct option? The correct option is 80 degrees it is. These figures are congruent. What is DC? Eighty-two inches it is. The correct option is yes, that is 82. Very good. Okay, triangle NLM is congruent to triangle TUS. What is LM? Which is the correct option? That is 61 centimeters, right? Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is identify congruent figures. Identify congruent figures. Okay. Are these shapes congruent? You are given two of the shapes. You need to see if they are congruent. So let's see. Look at the sides. There is no side in the left shape congruent to. They all are different in measurement, right? So they are not congruent, right? Let's just start with the test questions. Are these shapes congruent? Which is the correct option? The correct option is no, they are not congruent. Are these shapes congruent? No, they are not congruent, right? Are these shapes congruent? The correct option is no, they are not congruent, right? Are these shapes congruent? No, they are not congruent, right? The correct option is no. Are these shapes congruent? No, they are not congruent, right? Is there enough information to prove that these shapes are congruent? The correct option is yes, they are congruent and yes, they have enough information, right? Why no? All the angles are congruent, all the sides are congruent. Look at the sides. Sides with matching hatch marks are congruent. You cannot prove that any side in the right shape is congruent to OP. Okay, yes. WT is congruent to OM, but when OM is congruent to UW. But what about TU and PU? They are not congruent. Is there enough information to prove that the shapes are congruent? No, they are not congruent, right? And not enough information given. Are these shapes congruent? Hold on. Yes, they are congruent. Are these shapes congruent? Yes, they are congruent. The correct option is yes. No, they are not congruent. Is there enough is there enough information to prove that these shapes are congruent? I think yes. The correct option is yes. Is there enough information to prove that these shapes are congruent? Yes, that they are congruent. Are these shapes congruent? No, they are not congruent. Yes, they are congruent. The correct option is yes. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. So we are working on grade 10 math. The chapter we are working on is Introduction to Congruent Figures, and the lessons we have covered today are congruent statements and corresponding parts, solve problems involving corresponding parts, and identify congruent figures, right? So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons we did today. That is your homework until next session, right? So if you need more help with any of the lesson, you can contact any tutor on the Skype. They are available from Monday to Friday 5 to 9, or either you can join me in the interactive session that is daily from 4 to 5 and from 9 to 10. So if you have any question related to the lesson, you can please ask. I am here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any.